Hello everyone, this is Helios Raven. I tell you how to do it, even if you don't care. And it's been a while since I've done a video for this blog, so I decided I'm going to do a quick update slash blog thing about here. So, what we're talking about today is, well, first and foremost what I've been up to, which really hasn't been much. As, you know, with everybody here, you know, the economy hasn't been doing too great, so hobby stuff had to kind of suffer a little bit for that. But, that's neither here nor there. Let's see, I had been doing, some more stuff at my hobby store. I've been doing, I joined a 40K league, which is into its third week now. I'm going to do a video later about the army, because I have one or two guys I have to fix up before, like he hasn't been painted yet, and everything, so once he's done, I'll do a proper video displaying, you know, the army that I'm using for that. And so far, I've lost my first two games, like, completely, like, 0 points, complete shutout. The first game, I chalked it up to one or two bad decisions and a very poor deployment zone, which I wasn't able to effectively use the army to its fullest strength in that setup. And the second game, I chalk more up to dice rolling. I did make one or two mistakes, but I felt that if my dice were rolling better, I would have done a whole lot better, because I was hitting a lot, I was passing saves, I wasn't wounding or doing armor penetration, and when I was, the opponent was passing every single save that he had to make. So it was like when I needed the dice to you know, to help me out the most, they were failing. And so I bought a whole new set of dice. Hopefully that'll fix my bad luck for now. And so that's it for that, really. And so let's go on to, like, an actual, like, topic thing. Also working on the latest Touching Base episode for the Fearless Games channel. So you may see me poking back there a couple of times in this video, just so I can get that up and running. Hope that we shot it about a week ago, so hopefully this will be up this week. We're going to be talking about a couple of different things in that one, and so the biggest thing, which I guess will be, you know, the topic of this episode, this little video, is going to be the new Citadel Paint line. As everybody knows, the Citadel Paint line has changed, and so I'm just going to go over a couple of my thoughts. You can get, if you want to look into the paint list, this week's White Dwarf has a whole article about the new paint lines, you know, how they're used and all this other stuff. And so what they've introduced now is they've introduced different setups of paint. There's bases, layers, shades, dry, textured, technical, glazes. And so, you know, bases are basically the paint you can put over your base paint of, like, black or white or whatever you paint in. All these colors are designed to not show, you know, not have the black or white bleed out of them. So those who want to do yellow, the yellow actually will paint on the first coat, or white, the white will paint on the first coat, which is really nice. Layers are paints that are designed to be painted over each other, and their major design is to make it so you don't have to do they're there to complement the base colors, so you don't have to sit there doing a bunch of paint mixing and stuff like that. So you just go, okay, this color here, put it here, paint on, and boom, there's your highlight without any mixes or anything like that. Shades are basically improved washes designed to cover the whole model and get into the recesses of the model to make it, you know, to darken out the underlines of it. I'm not sure how true it is, but according to Games Workshop, you can paint one Eldar white completely, and then use the yellow shade, and he'll be perfectly yellow after a couple of layers, so you can make the Iaden yellow without painting a single bit of yellow on him, which would be pretty neat. Glazes are kind of like the old washes, so they're kind of like, you know, they're a color, and what they do is they have a pigment, and what they do is they help blend everything together. So if your highlight sticks out a little too much, you put this glaze on, and it kind of helps blend it into the base color, Again, reducing the need to mix your paints together to get a perfect shade of highlighting. Texture paint is paints basically used for basing, and you know it's got texture grain in it, so you can put it on and bam, no flock needed, just paint it on. Dry brush paint is paint that's super thick, so it allows you to do the dry brushing technique with less paint being used, which is really nice. And technical paint is basically, you know, your gloss, your gloss finish, liquid green stuff, hand painting, primer, and stuff like that. And I think one of the pieces in that set can be used to make your own glazes if you wanted to. And so, let's talk about what I like and don't like about this new paint set. What I don't like. What I don't like is how small the jars are. Compared to other Games Workshop, compared to other Games Workshop paints actually, the jars are tinier now. Like, see, this is an old Citadel Paint jar. When they still use the old traditional jars, just change the top of them. And it's basically the same jar, and this is the new jars. You know, they're slightly smaller, and I think they get thinner at the top, so they seem to utilize less paint than before. Also, again, the pop tops, I don't know what it is, but these paints always dry out faster than other paints out there, and it's really annoying. Excuse me one second. Responding, okay. So I'm not happy on that front. Like, here's a good example. Here is, these are the Cote d'Armes paints from Black Magic Hat. This is their paint jar, and this is Citadel's paint jar. And this is roughly only a few cents more. I mean, I paid about $15 for 3 of these guys, and I paid $11 and change for 3 of these paints. The only difference was I had to pay shipping on this one. So if I didn't pay shipping for this, I would have been paying the same amount for the same amount of paint, and the jars seal better, so the paint doesn't dry out as much. And that's the one thing I'm not happy with that one. Other thing I'm not happy with is not all the colors made the cut for a color transition. So there are a lot of colors out there that didn't cross over, and some of the crossover paints, the color tone is not exactly the same, so it's not that great of a replacement. Like, I had to go out, and thankfully one hobby store still had the three paints I utilize with my Wraithbone. So once these colors run out, my Wraithbone is going to look different because its Graveyard Earth didn't really make the cut. Bleach Bone and Amando Khaki did cross over, but the paint is slightly different, so I don't know how it's going to affect the look of my Wraithbone paint job. So, I'm not sure about that. Let's see, is there anything else that I'm not really happy with? That was really all I wasn't happy with this new paint thing. Okay, one moment. So that was really all I was not happy with the new paint schemes. Now, what I am happy about, I like the variety of colors now. They went to 145 different colors, which is phenomenally better than what they used to have. Now they've got yellows, they've got oranges, they've got purples, they've got pinks, which is hilarious because I just bought the old Tentacle Pink from Cote d'Armes about a week before the new paint line launched and announced that pink was going to be brought back, so I was just like, great. I didn't have to buy this, but I'm glad I did, It's good, Now I don't have to worry about it. But I'm very happy that the new paints have a larger variety of colors. Will make Harlequins painting Harlequins a lot easier and will broaden out the color spectrum that people used to have. So, like, pink cars, you know, now you can paint pink cars pink again, which is nice. And, let's see, I like how they broke down the different paints in what they are used for. I don't know how well it's going to be because there's some colors that I want to use as a base that are layers, and ones that I want to use like a layer is a base, so I'm going to have to see how that works. Probably going to work out better in the long run because the one I want to use is the Lich Purple layer paint, which is a layer, and I want to use as a base, and I want to use the Warlock Purple replacement as a layer, but it ends up being a base. But right now, I'm having that problem where the Warlock Purple isn't covering over the Lich Purple perfectly, so now my problem will probably be solved because supposedly these colors, excuse me, the base colors are supposed to cover over other colors not easily, easierly, or a lot easier. So there we go. So we're going to see how that works out. So I like how they, but like that, I like how they broke everything down in the steps. Because now I'm trying to improve my paint styles and my paint techniques. Problem is I'm not very good at mixing, and I can never do the 1-to-1s or the 2-to-1s or the 3-to-1s perfectly, unless my paint is fresh, because then I use an eyedropper. But when my paint gets old, the eyedropper doesn't really work too well, and then I end up having these issues where the paint's not mixing right from the first time to the last time that I do it, and all this other stuff. So I like the fact that they've broken it down for those who either A, just don't have the skill to master painting. Like, I'm kind of like in the middle ground with that. I can master certain aspects, but there'll be times where I'll do it once perfectly, and then I'll never be able to do it the same way again, so that's probably my greatest weakness. Or those that just don't have time to learn new painting techniques. Like, I work a good 30-hour work week, so when I get home, I don't want to do much, let alone learn how to do a whole lot of new different paint techniques and such. I just want to, you know, relax and paint easily. With these new paints I could just be like, okay, base, flump, layer, flump, done, don't have to think about it, just put on some nice music and relax while I paint. And that's what I feel I can do better with this, because I don't have to sit and think about all the different techniques and such. And I do like the texture paints. I have used it already. Let's see, here's a look at it. Let me get the light off. I used it to paint snow on this model here, and it came out pretty cool. What I did was I used the texture paint. Used the texture paint called Maroon Mountain Snow, or whatever, however you pronounce it. As many people on this channel will know, I am terrible at pronouncing the paint names. And then I put the white dry paint over it, and boom, done, instant snow, which is great for me because I have the worst luck with flock and glue. I've used Elmer's glue, I've used all kinds of different glue. No matter what I do, the flock always rips off. And I just haven't figured out what I can do to make it work. But now, with the texture paint, I can basically do 90%, like half of what I want in texture paint form, and then the other half in flock, so I can, in essence, make my job a little bit easier with basing my models. I only have the one set up so I can do only snow bases, so hopefully I'm going to get a couple more later on to do some different style of bases later. And so that's pretty neat. In total, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the new paints. I got the Maroon Mountain Snow, or however you pronounce that. Proxity White, or Proxity White, I don't know. Again, forgive me, I stink at pronouncing these names. The Fang, this is my new Shadow Gray, because that's what supposedly is supposed to be. Cantor Blue, which is, it works as Necron Abyss and Regal Blue, so we'll see how that works. And I got Macarage Blue. I thought this was going to be a good paint supplement for Necron Abyss, but I was wrong. I'll have to see, maybe it'll work for my 1000 Suns. And I got the liquid green stuff, which so far, I'm liking this stuff. This stuff has been very helpful and has helped get rid of a lot of seam lines in models that shouldn't have them. So what else is there? I also did pick up the new How to Paint Citadel Model paint guidebook. I don't usually do these because, you know, I'll just go online or something, but this is a great resource. It gives you a lot of nice tips, like how to take care of brushes and such. Like, it gives you pretty good insight on how they do their own little painting techniques, which is really great, especially if you like to use the White Dwarf's paint tutorials. And what I like about it is they basically has that type of setup where it's, you know, hold up and it shows you the different pictures, and it tells you what paint guides they're going off of and everything. And it breaks down all the different paint colors and the different paint stock categories and how they work. I also like the fact that it folds out into a stand, so you can have it sit there and just read along. And what I also like is the fact that in the back of the book, there's a DVD, which is great, especially for people like me who I sometimes can't figure out what it is they're doing in these pictures. Like, I'm like, wait a minute, I don't see a difference between these two pictures. What did he do differently? So that's a really great. I haven't checked it out yet. Like, I've thumbed through the book, and so far I do like what I've read. I used to not be interested in the how-to books, but I kind of like this one a lot. And I can't wait to pop open the DVD and see how that runs. And when I have a little bit more of an idea of how the DVD works, I'll let you guys know what I think about that as well. So that is it for me right now. Go to the, all the paints are set up on Games Workshop site. If you're on Long Island and in like the Nassau area, like I live over in the Suffolk area, so far I've got about 3 gaming stores within reason to my location, because sometimes I'm in Suffolk, sometimes in Nassau. And the store in Nassau called Grasshopper Comics, it's in Williston Park, just off of Hillside Avenue. It is the only store I've found that has every single new paint in the Citadel Paint line. I've been to the other gaming store by me, the other big one, Brothers Grimm. They have a couple, but they don't have the full selection. So if you're looking for just, Brothers Grimm is a great store. It's nice and it's bigger, and there's a lot more gaming tables, so it's easier to run games, and their hours are a little better if you're more into like gaming while, shopping around. But I find that Grasshopper Comics has a lot more variety of the paints, the model kit sets, and models in general over Brothers Grimm. And the people in both places are phenomenal. So if you're in the Suffolk area, check out Brothers Grimm. If you live in the Nassau area, check out Grasshopper Comics. They're great places. And if you can still get a copy of it, pick up this White Dwarf. Not only, it gives you a little bit about it, so if you don't want to spend, the money on the how-to paint guide, this will give you a pseudo insight, like a kind of mini version of that book. Plus, you get this awesome poster that has a list of all the colors and what category they're in. So, that's all for now. Check out Fearless Games channel for the new episode of Touching Base, and until next time, everyone, this is Helios Raven, signing off.